Well, this week we learned that the never-ending climate wars are set to continue. On the final day of the COP26 Summit, there was an agreement that countries would meet again next year to debate stronger 2030 targets. That's right, the 2030 targets agreed at Glasgow have been judged to be too weak, so the final communique commits the world's nations to meeting again next year to have another go. Now, predictably, Barnaby Joyce and the Nationals were quick out of the gate to say there is no way they'll be agreeing to change anything regarding Australia's 2030 target. And as we've come to expect, Scott Morrison, the Prime Minister, soon followed and confirmed there would be no change to the 2030 targets on his watch. Now, this is despite Australia being an absolute laggard on this one. By 2030, the United States has agreed to cut emissions by 50%, the UK by 70%, Canada by 36%, and yet Australia is still stuck on 26%, which is not enough to avoid dangerous climate change. The pressure is on for Australia to agree to more ambitious cuts, but the coalition government is not budging. Now, this creates a political conundrum for Labor. Having lost more than one election to a climate change fear campaign, Labor will be cautious. The expectation is that Labor will not announce its 2030 target until after Parliament rises for the year. I would not be surprised if Labor ends up committing to an emissions target of 35% by 2030. This is obviously an increase from the current target of 26%. Why am I suggesting it'll be 35%? Well, that's because Scott Morrison has already said Australia is on track to achieve a cut of 35%. So Labor would essentially be committing to a target that we're on track to meet. It's also a target that is more modest than the Business Council of Australia's call for a 50% cut by 2030. So the spectre of another business scare campaign is obviously muted. And 35% is also in line with Canada. And Canada is a country that is very similar to Australia on these matters. It has a large resource-rich nation, and so the comparison is a neat one for Labor to line up against. So, you heard it here first. I predict Labor will announce a commitment to a 35% cut by 2030 ahead of the next election.